Wheeler the third, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? All over the world, all my monetization nation, as I call them, my subscribers. That should mean you. If you're watching this, you need to be one of those, okay? Give yourselves a hand. Thank you so much. All of my 1,300 plus. We're going to have to get them numbers up on them watch hours, though. We got to get them watch hours. That's the part that's all in the way right now of our monetization. We need that full throttle, you feel me? But we know we're going to get it. We know we're going to get it. We know y'all going to come through, right? Y'all going to come through. Y'all going to represent. Oh, this right here, you want to see that, don't you? Yeah. It's not really my generation, but I remember when all that started. And I always liked the robots. And this has a really cool robot on the back you can't see. But if you want to see that, go through the content. There's a video I did for ONYXCON style. And this is a short. Is it a short? Or is it? I think it's a short. And wait a minute, it might not be a short. It might be a video. But it says the coolest, I think it says the coolest hoodie in LA, because I bought this in LA. Yeah, check that out. Check that out. You'll know it when you see it, because you can see the hoodie in the thumbnail. This is one of my favorites. And I had not worn it yet for the winter. You know how you have stuff that you like to wear for special occasions, but I just said it's special to me today. I just want to see my baby. I want to feel it. It's a real warm one too. It's one of them nice thick ones that just make you feel all toasty inside. You know what I'm saying? So I said, yeah, I gotta put on my joint. So it's got that. So y'all know if you can see that. It's got the robot just like this. The Zord, dope. But how y'all been? What y'all doing? What y'all up to? You know what I'm saying? Hey, all my monetization nation, y'all are always welcome to conversate, leave comments positively, because I know y'all gonna do right. You know, we don't tolerate nobody else. You know, we keep the shields up for the nonsense. We don't tolerate no negative comments, no negative energy. And I know with some of the heavy topics that I be hitting on a lot of times, that can bring about folk trying to have a difference of opinion, or sometimes just difference of psychology, because they not stable and they want to, you know, they want somebody to know that they need help. They need some Ritalin, or they need a shot in their ass, or, you know, whatever they need to get their mind right, you know. But we're not doctors, you know. I play one. I played one on television. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. I'm a producer in the film business. So, you know. And you don't want my prescription for get right. No, it's different. It's different. Anyway, oh gosh, woo, yo, wanted to talk to y'all about what I talk to y'all about almost every day in one way or another, and that's just the business of it all, the finances of it all, the reality of it all, of survival, and about focusing on the reality that you gotta lead with respect in all things. Respect, power, then money, okay? Do one even better. Respect, power, resources, because if you got resources, you got the money that never fades. Did you hear me? Okay. And so I've been looking at a lot of folk that are talking about this whole protest going on, and rightfully so for the reasons, okay? For some folks in the black communities, because we do it for the cultures, with a Z or with an S over here, like I say all the time. If you're new to the channel, understand the lingo. We got a lot of it. You got to get used to the way I have my phrases. You know what I'm saying? I have my ways. We have our ONYXCON doctrine, okay? The gospel of ONYXCON. No, I'm not religious. It's a word. I'm using it for what the word really means, okay? Deal with it. Let's go. So I'm saying this DEI concept that is really just the modern day version of affirmative action, which I support, but which I also understand, even like affirmative action back in the 70s and everything, in my parents' era, it had limitations. Even this has limitations. But the difference is, in this era, in this time, you got folks who really have been privileged for so long. I'm talking about black folks who've been privileged for so long, that they ignore everybody else who's still in the so-called struggles. They ignore everybody else. They just act like, well, you know, I got it. You ought to be able to get it. And they start sounding like the crazy people who kept folk oppressed. And even you got black folk telling other black folk, you ought to just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, fool, do you not know the rest of the phrase about when folk didn't even have a boot to pull straps on? I mean, no, you got that's your problem. You just got to get it. You got to get out here and get it. And if you really pay attention to who's talking a lot of times when that gets said, the former drug dealer, the former scammer, the shady business person that they never did anything on the street level, they just shady on the white collar version, okay, it's trying to tell you, you need to get your life together. You just need to figure out how to get it. You got to get it how you live. You know, they got all the slang. They got all the words for how, you know, you ain't did something right. You just, if you do this, it'll be just right. You'll be a millionaire overnight just like me because it's so easy. See, whenever you hear people talking like that, that's when you know they full of shit. That's when you know. I'm just like, all that tells me you ain't really lived. You ain't really been around enough diverse situations to understand other people's plight, what different demographics go through, what different ethnic groups in certain specific places go through, because there's no one identity for anybody's ethnicity and all of that. So this is what I'm saying. That's why I say for the cultures. But when you understand the cultures, when you've been around, I done been around from billionaires and millionaires, and I'm not BSing, I'm talking about for real. I tell y'all I'm in the film business, right? Okay, all right. Like, I've actually met Oprah, okay? Yeah, okay. So, like I said, I've been around billionaires, I've been around millionaires, I've been around 9-to-5, six-figure folk that don't have to go out the door, work from home, folk who just got a nice cushy situation, but they juggling their credit and everything, and they get by a little bit with, you know, just the 70 to 80,000 a year, to the 50s and the 40s, to the 30s and the 20s, to the damn food stamps ain't enough. You know, I know all these realities, and I've lived pieces of each one. So when you know those realities and you do business, which I do, my organization, ONYXCON, this is a 501c3 nonprofit, the ONYXCON Foundation Incorporated, state of Georgia. You can look us up. It's for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you realize how things actually go and what can be in the way sometimes of people's ability to advance or whatever. It's not always because of a lack of effort. It's not always because somebody's just not doing enough. It's not always because somebody doesn't understand enough about the way things go. No, that's the thing called systematic blocking, systematic gatekeeping, systematic keeping people from getting ahead. It's what's going on with all this maggot activity. It's out of control. So I understand the anger with people wanting to protest the DEI initiatives being dropped from all these major corporations like Target, Walmart, who else was on that list? It's a lot of them, actually. It's a lot of Hobby Lobby. It was a lot of them. But here's the thing, though. Here is the absolute thing that frustrates me to no end when it comes to these protests. Do y'all remember the Chick-fil-A protests years ago, when the owner of Chick-fil-A had made comments that upset the LGBTQ community and people who were either of that community or wanted to show solidarity because they have friends, family, and they want to show support? So they like, we ain't eating no more. We ain't eating this Chick-fil-A. You can stuff that chicken up your, well, you know, but we ain't eating no chicken, you know, all of that old conversation, right? How long did that protest last? Chick-fil-A's still around. Matter of fact, they've opened up way more new locations since then. They're doing quite well. Everyone I pass, matter of fact, as I drive right now, I'm coming up on one. And when I pass it, I know I'm going to see a line wrapped around the building like it is from the minute they open their doors to the minute they close them. It don't matter what the location. Do y'all remember after the George Floyd situation and the protest that went on? And that's really when DEI kicked off strong. That's when they came. That's when all these corporations wanted to show, hey, we're in solidarity with the black community. We will not stand for injustice. We will not stand for this mistreatment of anybody in the Americas. You will be respected in America. We deserve to have respect for each other, and you do have civil rights, and blah, 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 and black lives do matter. All those companies that wanted to show that they were with that, they did their part, and they did their non-discriminatory hiring and added new people to jobs, and a lot of folk came up off of that opportunity. A lot of deserving people got good jobs, right? And now, some of them same companies, with the return of the tyrant, with the return of Bizarro, because that's what we call him here, this Bizarro world, you know. And he don't get full credit for being just the epitome. He's a part of the iconography, the archetype of Bizarro. If you don't know who Bizarro is in DC Comics, look up Bizarro. All right, because I talk about this. This is the code word for talking about this without having to mention names of Shaitan. You know. But yeah, it's you know, you ain't gotta just outright be talking about Beelzebub up in this mug. But yeah, this fool. Now it's dropping it. I want to see it gone. And these companies that are in bed with them, or at least it seems, want to see it gone. Now, why did I say it seems? Now, here's my point, the ultimate point. Because I've learned not to be, as I say, they say, it's chess, not checkers. Now, don't get it twisted. If you playing chess, all right? If you're playing chess, if you know the game of chess, and I love chess, you can look here and see content I've done where I show you my best games, you know. And I be playing against people all over the world. And I admit, most time I lose. Most time I get schooled. A little bit. Sometimes a lot. Just depends on the opponent. Because you're really battling yourself in every chess game. You're battling parts of your own nature and how you react to different moves. Especially when you're playing somebody who really is good. Because they're going to make you be like, wait a minute, what? Huh? Because in chess, like any other game, there's certain moves that are standard, that everybody does, that everybody, you know, the opening, the middle, and the end. As they always talk about that in chess strategy. The openings, the middle of the game, and the close. Whatever you're doing at any of those different points is going to determine whether or not you're going to get to a checkmate. Or a draw. Or whatever. Okay, if you're playing for points, whatever it is. But when I'm playing, I've learned that once you know your nature, that's who you fighting against. You're fighting against yourself. You're trying to figure out, how do I survive and win this thing, knowing how I know I'm going to react when certain things happen. And so, if you're simple-minded and you only think one way about a lot of things, and you think everything's just as simple as, well, there's the dark colored pieces and the light colored pieces. I'm on one side of the board, they on the other. I'm my side, they side, and we enemies, period. That's it. Okay, that you could simply look at it like that, and that's your opponent. All that. But I'm gonna tell you something about that mentality. There's many ways to translate chess into a metaphor for parts of life. And here's one I'm gonna give y'all. When you look at this DEI situation, if you literally, as a consumer in America, I'm talking to my American followers here, subscribers, who are, I mean, not to say my international people won't understand this, because these companies are in their countries too. Some of these companies. They got Walmart in Mexico. I went in a Walmart in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? I bought some things when I was down there. Shout out to Playa del Carmen, right outside of Cancun, in the Yucatan. You know what I mean? They have stores that might be tied in with the companies that own all of these different ones that are being protested in other places that I went. Because they'll rename, it'll be a different name, but it's the same company. You know, all that stuff goes on, right? But the real thing is this. If you literally feel as a consumer that you're making a statement by protesting, there's nothing wrong with the concept of letting them know we ain't going for this. And you got to start somewhere. So I get the momentum. I get I understand the anger. I understand the protests themselves. What I would ask people to do, though, it would behoove you. And I wish I could do what I could do when I go live on Instagram. I could flash y'all the images while I'm talking. I can't do that here because I got screenshots, okay? But there's a site. I'm gonna get y'all the name of it real quick. Hold on. I need to at least give you that. Okay. It's called Open Secrets. I think it's opensecrets.com. Check it out. Check it out. Check out Open Secrets. It's a website. If you put it in a Google search, it's gonna come up. And what this site does is it gives you data on any and every major corporation and facts about their budget, and particularly who they have supported in political elections, who they have given money to in certain political parties, how much they have actually given. And when I say they, that's where we got to play chess, not checkers. See, if you keep it as simple as thinking, oh, you know, it's just us against them and that's it. No, when you speak of it in the sense of corporations, guess what? You say, some people, like I saw a thing that had Al Sharpton outside of a Costco saying, we're going to support Costco because they stepped up and they're one of the ones that's with us. They're supporting DEI. So I looked into this site, Open Secrets, and it clearly shows that Costco, first of all, let me say this. The way this data is assessed, it makes it clear. By law, they can't, a corporation itself can't, like Costco, Walmart, Target, any of them, they can't literally say, we supported Bizarro the Chump, okay? They can't say, we literally supported Kamala. They can't say that. They have to, what they do though, they're so huge, these companies are so freaking big that their departments, just the departments, the department of, you know, the doctors, you know, you have the little clinic at some of the bigger Walmarts and stuff. Yeah, the clinic, the people who work there, people who have positions of power there, have given money, and that becomes public. That becomes public information through Open Secrets, this site. So if the head of a department, the head of human resources, the head of whatever, all the heads, because again, it's so huge. You don't have just one. You got who the ultimate head is, and then you got other heads down from that head. It's like in the film business when you have a crew and you got the director, you got the assistant director, you got the assistant director, second assistant director, third assistant director, fourth, maybe even it gets crazy with how many ranks. It's all this rank type stuff. It's like military. Same department, but with a different position, gave $200 or whatever. And the site clearly breaks down that they don't even start counting until it's like $200 or more have been given. So the amounts that full departments have given are added up, and then you get this massive number that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars given to any one of the political parties. And it specifies Democrat, Republican. It shows you specifically, okay? And it gives you by year. So you can go back and look at the history of every year, how much these companies, different departments, employees, actual human beings, gave to these political parties. So the bottom line is, no particular company is exactly Democrat or Republican. The workers who actually run it, depending their departments, might be more one side or the other. You know what I'm saying? Or like they love to play the game talking about we're partisan. I laugh about that word, but anyway, you know, whether they one side of the thing, far right, far left, man, let me tell you something. They are both at any given time, any given year, based on actual money given. Now, the other thing to remember with that is who's hiring people at these different companies. Who's allowing people to work, since they are the gatekeepers? Some of them will definitely, from the numbers I saw, are the ones who would be approving of these drops of DEI. And then there would be others who I'm sure were fighting the good fight from within, but per company, for whatever their rank is, whoever's going to end up reporting their status to the press it's going to be somebody who wants that other agenda. And if they favor that agenda of dropping DEI, then they come out with a report on behalf of the entire company saying, yeah, we're dropping that. Because their department is over that. So if the people who are over that in that department say that we're dropping that, then yeah, it makes it look like the whole company is a bunch of fist pumping, you know, or other type of salute like Musk did type folk, when in actuality, that is not the reality of individuals per individual that works for these companies. And it's not where they spent their money with hopes of a different result in the election. It is all mixed up and cut down the middle as usual, like everything else in this country. Some with it, some ain't. Some with it, some ain't. Some gonna, some never gonna. It's just what it is. But when you see the numbers, y'all, and stop being emotional and face the facts, then you can make a consumer decision and do the same thing they're doing department-wise as a consumer. You can say to yourself as a consumer and as a worker, if you work somehow, and I'm speaking from a personal standpoint because I had to make peace with this for myself, because I hate what's going on, and anything that goes with the agendas of the nonsense of Bizarro, I'm gonna want to be immediately opposed to. But the problem is, we in the matrix, people. The famous line, and I wish I could drop it here, but again, you can't do that when you're in a live. But I wish I could edit that in and just drop it like little sound bites. I would put in the joint from Higher Learning, the famous scene where Ice Cube's character Fudge said, after the big fight with the neo-Nazi group, and they beat him down, him and his pro-black militant group beat him down. And they was all hype and talking they stuff in the dorm while they were icing their fists from being, you know, in a fisticuff fight, and everybody getting their stuff tuned up and putting on band-aids and whatever. But, you know, the other dudes looking way more mangled. You should see the other guys, you know. But even though they took him out, Cube was sitting up there listening to all his troops, so to speak, talking all this big talk and beating their chest. And he said, hey, man, what you talking about? Look around you. That couch you sitting on, they own it. This school, they own it. We behind enemy lines. With his LA accent. We behind enemy lines. Straight up. To get the exact line, we behind enemy lines, dog. It was absolutely true. And it's still the reality for most of us. Because even those of us who are entrepreneurs like myself, who have our own institutions and businesses and things, we're still within a governmental system that, unfortunately, right now is under the primary control of the very enemies that we know don't have our best interests at heart. But do not forget that there are people, like I'm trying to tell you, it would behoove you for yourself. Go look at Open Secret, the website, look at it. And see the numbers of the people who wanted a different result. And all of these so-called, there are enemy companies. It ain't that simple. It ain't as simple as them over there on the other side of the board and us over here. Because again, back to the strategy in chess, if you want to make it literal for a metaphor, when you're playing chess, sometimes your enemy, they're never your friend per se, but they can play themselves. They can do something and it works in your favor. Something unexpected. They think they got you cornered, and you sacrifice. You learn the meaning of the word sacrifice. You say, okay, I'm gonna let you have that one. And you may think that you're winning because I still work here. But guess what? I got my boundaries. And the goal is still to get your ass in checkmate. So I'm gonna let you have that one. But I ain't gonna keep letting you eat pieces. I ain't gonna let you just keep taking me off the board, because that's counterproductive too. I'll end up losing the entire war. I have to win the war. I'll let you think you won because you beat me in every move, it's your turn. It's my turn. The 1, the 2, it's your turn, now it's my turn. Every time you move and I move, that's a battle. So there's multiple battles. In some cases, it's quick. 1 or 2 battles, it's over. Damn, what the hell? What just happened? Oh, snap, why did I not see that? But if you're playing for real, man, please, I'll tell you one thing about me. Like I said, I've been beat more than I've been winning when I play the world. But I'm the kind of player, I get more draws than anything. Pause. The draws I get are from the ladies. Okay, specify. Now, I know y'all can take that and play with that soundbite. Don't be playing with me. Listen here. I get more draws in the game. You know, you have a draw. Like, you didn't win, they didn't win. It's just a draw. It's down the middle. Y'all both won. It is what it is. And that's because I am notorious for clearing the room, baby. I ain't going out without them battles going to be to the very last drop. Your move, my move, your move, my... You think you got me? No, mother sucker. I'm gonna get to a point where I don't want to see the ugly last 4 moves, and I just say, oh, bump it. Stop the game, you know. Or I'm going to make you do that, because I'm going to get you so cornered. Or are we going to take it down to the very end? I've had so many games where we get down to just 2 kings. That's it. My king and theirs. And we just hopping around on the board until it finally runs out of time on the timers. And it's like, that's it. It's a draw. And I actually like when that happens. But then back to my point of the metaphor, though. Sometimes, depending on the style of player you are and how this is a metaphor for real life, I had a bad habit. And depending on my move, I can still be this guy. But I know I'm aware of it now, so I try to avoid being that. I have a way of playing sometimes where I call it the aggressive forward march. Forward ever, backwards never. No. Sometimes you got to go backwards on the chessboard, not in reality of momentum of making a goal. You're never going backwards. But you got to go backwards in the sense of sometimes a piece that moves forward that has the option of going back. You know, the only ones that don't go back are pawns. If you make every other piece act like a pawn, you're going to be in a situation. You're going to be in a situation real quick where you're losing every battle and you'll mess around and lose the war. That's the reality I've come to in applying that strategy of chess in real life. Because what I see a lot of us doing as people, period, but to speak specifically of Black American communities in this country and how whenever there's something like this that happens, there's a general pawn mentality. And it's not just us. Like I say, this is a universal thing that happens with people, period. White, black, red, brown, yellow, all them, racial constructs, any ethnicity, it doesn't matter. People do this in their own ways. Every group does it. But the problem is the way people become pawns is, the one thing about a pawn, if a pawn can make it all the way to the other end, if you know the game, you got the choice of becoming another queen on the board. If you've lost your queen, you can replace that queen, which is a lethal, one of the most people say that's the most lethal piece on the board, the queen, all that. But depending on the situation, you could also be any of the other power pieces that you may have lost or get another one. You get another knight, you get another rook, you get another bishop, okay, or another queen. So when you understand that psychology, a lot of people, it's like getting to the other side of the board is like reaching a state of wealth. I was just a lowly foot soldier. That's all a pawn is. I'm just, we lethal too now. Don't take a pawn for granted. Pawn can win a game all day, every day it happens. Pawns can definitely hem you up. But the thing about it is, if you just have a pawn mentality, like I say, they can only move forward. They can only move to the side when they're attacking, one at a time. So if you get in that little minuscule mind state when it comes to solving major issues in real life, you can be on some, okay, somebody got to be the fall for this. I need a scapegoat. Okay, it's that company. They're the bad guy. It's simple. It's childish. It's like bad and good. Who's bad? Oh, they're bad? Okay, I don't like them. They're bad. It ain't that damn simple. Like I said, there's people in every company, even the ones that you say you siding with, who still agree with this agenda and put their money, most importantly, on that agenda. Okay? So all that emotional, yeah, those are the bad ones and these are the good. It's not that freaking simple. It's not that simple. It ain't never been and it ain't about to be that simple. What you should be thinking is, which department had more people that agreed with my philosophy? Oh, well, maybe if I got in touch with them, because they're hurting right now. They need some more weight in the game. That's who you reach out to. That's who you form an alliance with and heal the wounds of everything, and understand that while you up here emotional now, let enough other things happen in the world and people will forget the damn protest every time and get back in line at Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I messed the name up on purpose because I'm tired of saying these companies' names and they ain't putting nothing on mine. You're going to be back at the filet because y'all went right back. It don't stop. It don't never stop. And it's just going to be what it be. Why? Because you're addicted to the food. That's a bigger issue. Your health. You're addicted to the taste of it. You're addicted to the salt. You're addicted to the sugar. You're addicted to the grease. You're addicted to the, you don't even care when they tell you got diabetes. I'd rather die with a smile on my face than I ate my last sandwich. Pow. That's what so many people want to do. It's horrible, but that's what they do. That is what they do. So it's a mental war first. And if you can get out of your own way and start understanding, look, man, it ain't that simple. Instead of always just march forward. Once we pick the enemy, that's the enemy. And you're just pawns. You just marching forward. And you're attacking to the side with your little spears and knives. And then, okay, that's fine. But first of all, y'all don't move as quick as the other ones do. You ain't as quick as a bishop. You ain't as quick as a knight. You can't leap over folk like a knight. You can't do all these different things. So if you stuck on that, the real pieces that could do the most damage, the real concerns that could make things better, that win the war, you ain't moving them because you're so busy. Like, march forward. Let's have it like a big, Hollywood movie where it's two rows of folk and they just run straight at each other. It's like there's a part of some people's mind, that's all they want to do. They just can't wait to have that run and let's clash in the middle type of battle. They not playing that. No, I'm going to lay back in the cut. I'm a bishop. I'm a sniper. And I'm going to blast your ass from 100,000 yards away. Damn. And every time, it's a headshot. Busting pixels. Check out our gaming content. That's what we call it, busting pixels. Nah. I'm a knight. Y'all up here, at the line doing all that. I'm going to hop right over you and swipe necks because my range is so bad. I can hop backwards, south, east, west, north, and south. That's knight. East, west, north, and south. That's queen. East, west, north, south, and southeast, northwest. Southwest, northeast. Do you hear me? If you play the game, you already laughing because you know what I'm saying. But that's the way you got to think in life, people. That's the way you got to think in life. You got to be looking at the whole board. Because I saw something today from a lady. It's on Tavis, not Tavis Smiley, excuse me. It was Ricky Smiley. I'm mixing up my Smileys. Ricky Smiley, the famous comedian, who's very, very politically inclined when he's not being his silly comedic self. Ricky's a smart dude. He played Goofy from Alabama, but that brother is super smart. But anyway, he had a point on his Instagram. If you look it up, you'll find it. And there's a lady, it shows her face. She's got an afro. It's a black lady who has products in Target. And she's talking about her disgruntledness with the thing. She said, she her own words, she said she's getting back. The header said, she's getting fallout from people who are mad at her. They don't, because they're not listening. They're pawns. All they hear is, oh, you ain't with it? Then F you too. Oh! Oh! That's all they know. That's all they know. They're not listening. They're not laying in the cut like the sniper saying, wait a minute, let me read it in my scope before I attack. Okay, let me see how many squares I can be hitting other than them other ones. Let me figure out. Oh, no, I'm not going to move yet. I'm going to move now and win the battle. They're not thinking like that. They get mad about this woman saying, I have products at that store and it hurts me as a businesswoman. Before you leap out, if you think you're helping black folk, you're hurting some of us. Just consider this. Not saying, she says in her own words, she's basically like, if you decide you want to protest and just not buy any, I understand. I do understand. But I'm telling you, if you think that's helping us, it's not. Because what's going to happen is our stuff is going to get pulled from the shelf and it's going to get replaced by somebody else. She said that. Go listen to it for yourself. Don't just be a pawn on the board. Pawns are powerful, but they got to be thinking, just like all the other pieces. You can't have dumb pawns that just go, And like I said, when the fight is over, any few of them that's left standing, they're like, man, I'm hungry. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. Wake up, y'all. Come on.